The good news is it doesn't have to take you very long to completely transform your life into the life that you want. But it does take one very important thing, and that is you need to let go of the old identity that is keeping you attached to the unwanted habits, patterns, and ways in which you feel stuck. And you need to adopt a new identity. You need to step into feeling like you actually are that new version of you. That's when everything shifts around you. That's when the universe responds differently to you. People respond differently to you. Opportunities respond differently to you. And it all starts with what you can do, which is changing that identity. In this video, I'll walk you through some examples of what I mean, and also a really simple visualization that I do for myself that has helped me to completely shift into the version of myself living the life that I once used to dream of. The first example is someone who is trying to get healthy, someone who wants to feel and look healthier and better than they've ever looked and felt before, someone who wants to be able to, for the first time in their life, stick to healthy, nutritious eating, who wants to be in a healthy relationship with the gym so that their body is strong, their heart is healthy. If that person continues to think and say things like, I find it really hard to stick to things like that, it's just not for me, I'm not that kind of person, I have a sweet tooth, I can't live without this particular kind of junk food, I just hate exercise, I hate the gym, I could never stick to something like that, those things are so extreme. For as long as you identify with that story, even if you temporarily make progress, even if you temporarily stick to a healthier routine, you will go back because you still identify yourself as someone where that is not available to you. The same goes for career, the same goes for money, the same goes for relationships. Take a moment. Think about that area in your life that you want to change, but it's felt frustrating, you felt stuck. You felt like you can't break free from the same pattern. And ask yourself, what story goes round in my head about how that has to work for me? This is your permission slip to let go of that old identity. It does not matter if you have identified in that way for your entire life up until now. If for in your entire life you felt like you're not a morning person, or you can never find the right guys, or money is really hard for you to make, or no matter how hard you work, you can never catch a break, you're just someone who can never stick to something, you're not a consistent person. If you say that you want something that does not currently feel available to you because of the stories and identities that you have around yourself, now is the time to let that go. It is essential for you to let go of that old identity and allow yourself to entertain the possibility, just the possibility, of a new one. So how do you do this? How do you let go of an old identity and adopt a new one? Well, the first step you've done, because you've identified what the old story was, and you can't create a new one if you're not aware of what the old story sounds like. So step 2 is to create the new one in as much detail as possible. What would your new story sound like? How would the world work for you according to your new identity? Money is so easy for me to make. It is effortless for me to be in loving, trusting relationships. I am unconditionally loved for being me. I make plenty of money while living a balanced life. It is so easy and effortless for me to live in a healthy routine. I love being healthy. I love feeling healthy. I love going to the gym. I love moving my body. I love how it makes me feel. I love being on this journey of respecting myself. I love respecting my body. I love respecting who I am. Those were just a few examples, but create your own. Create your own. Write down a couple of sentences. That might be all it needs to take. What you'd like to believe instead. And usually the best way to do this is look at what your old story was and then flip it. What would be the most empowering, positive opposite of that old limited story that you used to live by? Okay, that's your new story. Immerse your brain in that. Tell yourself that new story 100 times a day. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell it to yourself. Tap on your meridian points while you say that affirmation over and over again to really drum it into your energetic body and your subconscious mind. What we're doing right now in terms of creating a new identity for you to live into, as much as other YouTubers might just say, oh, just watch this one video and instantly your life will shift, like, that's not how neuroscience works, okay? You can clear and release things quite profoundly in a moment, but if you want a guaranteeable process that's going to work, repetition is the way that the subconscious mind receives new programming. And full immersion, almost like brainwashing yourself to believe the new story, new neural pathways are becoming new dominant neural pathways. And when you can take a new neural pathway, put as much energy into it as possible by thinking it with repetition, your brain will start to default to fire down that new neural pathway rather than what it's currently doing, which is defaulting down one of your old limited neural pathways. If every time you think about doing something progressive, expansive, abundant with your life, the limiting belief kicks in straight away, the self-sabotage takes you out of the game immediately, your brain is filled with a million excuses as to why you can't do it, it's because it's operating on that old programming and it's trying to make your life agree with what it feels familiar with and what the old neural pathway is saying. Whereas if you can pour enough energy into the new neural pathway and that becomes your new operating system, it's going to be a lot easier to get your own brain to work for you instead of feeling like your own brain is working against you. The other aspect of this is your nervous system. Your nervous system will keep you in the familiar hell rather than take you to the unfamiliar heaven, because your own body might feel comfortable in a weird way in the traumatic familiar territory. So another goal to have in your mind is, how can I help myself to feel safe around the things that I want? How can I make my wildest dreams, or even just my next level, the progress, the growth that I want in my life, that income growth from 1,000 or 2,000 to 3,000 or 4,000, or 3,000 or 4,000 to 8,000 or 9,000, like whatever it is, you don't even have to be talking about millions right now, just the next level up. How can I make that feel completely safe for me? How can I normalize it? How can I make it feel natural? And so practicing thinking about what you want without it being on a pedestal, in a very natural, normal way, saying affirmations to yourself like, it is safe for me to have that money, it is safe for me to earn X amount per month, it is so safe, easy and natural for me to be in a loving, committed relationship with someone who I can trust. It is so safe for me to be able to trust these trustworthy people who keep coming into my life from now on. Do you know what I mean? So finding ways, words and methods to help to regulate your nervous system, in particular around this subject that you might be feeling a block around, is the other really key important part. So we've got subconscious reprogramming and also nervous system regulation. Now, I promised you that I would share with you the simple yet very powerful visualization technique that I use. It only takes a couple of seconds, maybe 10 seconds max. And so wherever you are, if you ever feel like the old identity, the version of you who fears the very thing that you want, if you ever feel like you've become them again, because it will be a little bit of a game of back and forth for a while, then this visualization will help you to reactivate this new version of you with the new identity who is open to receiving what you want. And I call it the car technique. I actually created this image came to me in my head when I was in a retreat in Bali, because when I was in Bali, I realized I'd turned 30, and I thought in my 20s that when I turned 30, I would just magically feel like this put together woman who's got her life under control and who feels confident and powerful and good enough and strong and all this stuff. But when I turned 30, that didn't happen. And so it was a bit of a wake-up call for me to think, oh, I thought at some mystical milestone I would suddenly feel XYZ, Whereas in reality, that's not how it works. And I'd been feeling like a scared little girl, a scared, awkward, insecure teenager all throughout my 20s. So when I hit 30 and I still felt like that, I realized it's not about an age, it's not about a milestone, it's about how I see myself and who I'm identifying with on the inside. So at that retreat in Bali, this image came to me of a car. And I saw that scared, insecure little Lucie was in the driver's seat, clutching the steering wheel and freaking out, feeling out of her depth, feeling like I shouldn't be driving this car. I don't know how to drive a car. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't feel good enough. All of these other people have got it figured out and I don't have it figured out. And then in my mind, what I visualize is my higher self, the version of me who's got this, the version of me who feels strong and powerful and skilled and competent and calm and grounded and goddess energy, right? So she's in the car too. And lovingly and kindly, she takes scared little Lucie out of the driver's seat and she just moves her into the passenger seat. And she says, it's okay. You don't need to drive the car anymore. I'm here. You just sit. Enjoy the view, enjoy the journey. I'm gonna drive. And then I feel that my higher self is in the driver's seat of my life again, right? Scared little Lucie, she's been comforted, she's been reassured. I'm not rejecting her, right? I'm not telling you to reject that version of you who's been feeling the trauma, the fear, the pain. Just help her to feel safe. Right? Put her in the passenger seat, put her seatbelt on, she's strapped in, she's all good. And then it helps you to remember, oh yeah, this is the identity that I can choose to switch on again. This is who I can be, this is who I am, this is what's real. My scared, insecure parts of me have been tended to, have been reassured by me. I don't even need anybody else to help me to feel safe. I can help myself feel safe, and I can remember that that's not who I have to be all the time. Sometimes she can pop in. Sometimes she can find herself in the driver's seat. And once again, I just use that visualization to pop her kindly into the passenger seat. And I feel in control again. I feel more powerful. Not perfect. Haven't got it all figured out. But it helps me to switch into that powerful identity that I want to be in more often. And since I've been doing that over the last 6 months, my life has transformed. I've allowed myself to have the car that I dreamed of, that was on my vision board. We're living in our dream villa. We're living in Spain. I've got my Spanish residency now. And there's still moments when scared little girl freaks out and she's freaking out about how to move across to being a Spanish tax resident, and she's never done that before, or how to sort out just like this complicated bureaucracy paperwork that she's never had to deal with before, right? Or dealing with car salespeople that she's never had to do before. And there are times when little Lucie freaks out. And so I use this visualization tool to put her in the passenger seat, reconnect to my power, reactivate this identity of mine that is going to help me progress to the next level of my life. And that's how I do it. It's a healthy coping mechanism. You're welcome to practice it to support yourself as you navigate moving away from old unwanted patterns and stepping into your new identity where life works differently for you from now on. The rules are different. It can be easy, it's available, it's safe, you can do it. Of course you can. You're worthy, you're deserving. So I have one more gift for you, and that is something brand new that I've created called the Alignment Quiz. It's linked below in the description. It only takes a couple of minutes for you to complete, and once you do, it will show you how in alignment you currently are with your dreams and goals. And you'll get a tailor-made results page supporting you on what would be the best things to do right now to help you to align even further with the things that you want. So it's completely free, it's down in the description below, and it's fun. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring my bell so that you never miss another video. And feel free to take your pick from one of these videos to watch next.